Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 69th episode of Coffee with Chris, the podcast where I share my life with you and talk about the subjects that you want me to talk about. So if you've got anything you want me to talk about, make sure to leave it in the comment down below, and I'll check it out as soon as I get the chance. I try to make an episode every single day, so I will be right back talking about your subject. Now, I apologize very much for the joke about 69 in the beginning, but it just seems to be kind of a meme, right? And I've always loved the little subtlety that's ingrained in it. So I'm gonna stop saying the number now, just because that would force me to say the word every single time too. This episode might be a little different in that I might have to cut it. I'm having some severe allergies right now. Essentially, I'm allergic to anything. Like, I'm allergic to my cat. I'm allergic to dust, which I've also got a lot of because I suck at wiping off surfaces. I should actually get better at that. Maybe, I used to have microfiber cloths, but I don't know where they went. They disappeared during the move, and I never got around to buying any, even though they're super cheap. So maybe I should go buy some and just start wiping down surfaces again, because I used to wipe down every now and then. Like now I'll wipe this thing down, or I'll wipe this surface down. Not a full clean, but just enough to clear it up. Anyway, I'm also allergic to pollen. I am allergic to grass, only when it's newly cut. I'm allergic to it. Basically, if it exists, I'm allergic to it. I have a strange, unexplainable allergic reaction to allergy-friendly soap. And my mum does too. It's a shared trait that we have. Our doctor thought it was kind of funny, but there's not much to do about it, and he's not actually even sure what it is that we're allergic to. But there is some kind of ingredient in allergy-friendly soap, at least a particular brand of allergy-friendly soap that we have in Denmark. And I'm allergic to that. So when it gets in touch with the thinner areas of skin, like the inside of your armpit, inside of your elbow, what I was trying to say, or my armpit, I actually start itching, and I might even get a small, almost insignificant, but nonetheless existent rash. And I know you don't want to hear about that, so let's quickly move on. The point is, I'm allergic to a lot of things. And most of my allergies are, I inhale it, I try to sneeze it out. Well, the other day I decided that I'm a man, okay? I grow nose hair. It's nothing extreme or anything, but it's enough that they sometimes bother me. So they don't come out of my nose, but they're in there, and sometimes I'll feel it, and it keeps making me scratch because it's kind of ticklish and it annoys me. And so I decided to trim my nose hairs. Now, during that early summer is such a bad idea when you have allergies, because now there's nothing to grab everything that's coming into my nose, and I just keep sneezing. And it's running, and it's so frustrating. I cannot begin to describe how frustrating it is. I feel like I'm dying half the time. It's not very nice. You know what's also not very nice? Women. So that needs a definite explanation, doesn't it? Because that was a weird statement. No, I've come to realize something. While men can be quite terrible, actually, we usually don't tend to target each other in the ways that women do. And I'm not going to get into details because, no, I'm not going to feed the algorithm with that. But the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp case and Camille Vasquez, or however, I think that's her name. Well, women are now coming after Camille, and it's so insane. Like, how can people act like this? Camille is a lawyer doing her job, and a good job at that. She won the not single-handedly, but she and the team won their case for their client. That's some good lawyering. And I see that way too often. Women will attack other women for the weirdest things. Like, men get jealous too, but we don't start like verbally attacking someone just because we're jealous of them. At least, not in my experience. I freely admit that people may have different experiences, and I'm mostly talking about my own personal experiences and observations, which is to say that to you, or to anyone really, I might be in the minority, because to however many people, it might be the case that this is actually your experience with men, and women are just kind and caring and generous. I wouldn't know. All I know is that I see women taking things too far more often than I see men taking things too far. I often see men being calmer while simultaneously being more aggressive if you do push their buttons. But women are quicker. Again, I'm talking about experience here, nothing, and I'm not judging every woman. It's more of I'm actually quote unquote scared of women. Now, I've had some terrible experiences with women. My ex-wife was emotionally abusive. My ex best friend's roommate thing had borderline personality disorder and would regularly claim that her bird died at one point. And even though she's the one who kept not feeding it, not giving it water, she blamed me. She said I killed her bird. And, it was accusation upon accusation all of the time. I'd just be chilling in my room when all of a sudden she'd barge in and scream at me over literally nothing. And whenever I tried to talk to her about like household chores and such, and could you please remember to clean up after yourself? I don't want to go down and find bags of chips and dip, like open dip containers under the table, because that I actually found that she'd just shove it in there, and I kept having to clean up after her. And whenever I tried to talk about it, she'd go off on me. Again, that's pretty abusive actually, though I didn't really allow myself to be abused by it. I just went my own way. That's also why when she told me she was moving out, I told her fine. I told her that I'd had enough of her bullshit. And when I actually took her up on the offer to finally move out, because I was stuck there just as much as she was. I was actually probably stuck more, because I had some other ties. It was my old house from prior to the divorce, and that's, yeah. Anyway, when I took her up on the offer, she acted offended. Like, how could I take her seriously? How could I actually not want to live with a person who actively tells me that she doesn't want to live with me? Surprise, surprise, right? And again, it's anecdotal, and it's actually kind of unfair because I have known more kind women than I've known women like these. But there are definitely crazies, and I feel like when a guy is crazy, he may be violent, but when a girl is crazy or a woman is crazy, she's psychotic. And now, I don't know any statistics. I don't know anything. I'm just talking from anecdotal personal experience, what I see, what I hear, what I experience. And I don't get along very well with men. I don't spend a whole lot of time with men. So that could possibly be why I don't get to experience this. But if men are just as insane as women, then this world deserves to burn. I mean, it's... This ended up being a rant about how terrible women are, and I don't mean to sound like an incel or a misogynist or anything like that. I think there are some amazing women out there, some very successful women, and like I just said, Camille Vasquez, again, I'm actually not sure that's her last name. I'm fairly certain, but don't take me up on it. she seems like a great person. She's a great lawyer. She's kind to her clients, and you know. But then you contrast her to Amber Heard, who's a straight up psychopath, manipulative bitch to say the least. And you know, it's just, you know the deal, right? When a woman goes, men are pigs, she doesn't mean all men are pigs. Like, at least most of the time she doesn't. She just means that right now she's angry with men because something happened that's disgusting. Maybe she got catcalled or something, and that is a terrible practice in and of itself. And I wish there were like shock collars or something. Like, could you imagine that? Someone catcalls a lady and then their buddy just shocks them. I think that would be pretty great to do, because it's disgusting, and I can't imagine how uncomfortable it must be to not be able to walk down the streets without someone not only looking at you and objectifying you, but actually calling out to you. Because personally, if you look at me, I'll take that as a compliment. Like, that's a compliment to me. No matter how many times I get looked at, it's a compliment. Now, if I get stared at, that's creepy. If I get yelled at, that would be uncomfortable. So, you know, yeah, I get it. Men are honestly just as terrible. I just feel like we are more generally bad. Like, men can be such assholes. Whereas women are generally pretty great, though it can be extremely manipulative. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like we men, we are more near the middle, whereas women, they hit both ends of the spectrum. They're both a lot kinder and a lot worse than men are, because we average out somewhere in the center. A lot of us are honestly just kind of stupid. And yeah, so I'm just angry with people in general, to be honest. It's not even just women. It's people. I think people are terrible. And I mean, there are so many people out there who don't know how to behave themselves. So many people out there who think they're justified in their behavior. Like, I know I'm not justified in criticizing men and women in the way that I'm doing, because I'm not positing a proper argument. I'm not making, I'm making an effort to signal that I'm aware of the fact that I'm not positing a proper argument. But I'm not actually formulating this in ways that are constructive. And so, I know I'm not fully justified. But people really do think that they're justified to say and do whatever the heck they want. The only reason that I'm even remotely justified right now is that this is my channel and that no one is listening. Now, if I had 1 million listeners, or even just 100 listeners, I would be a lot more careful with what I'm saying right now, because my words have an impact. Like, if I go out here and I say to my 100 listeners that women are terrible, then that might motivate them to treat women as if they were terrible. And that would not be okay. That cannot be justified. And so I wouldn't do it. And that does kind of sound like the argument that I'm only doing it because I won't get caught. I'd steal if I wouldn't get caught. And I feel like I really am morally ambiguous that way. Like, honestly, if it wasn't illegal, I'd probably steal stuff. But I don't think I'd steal as much stuff as other people. I would still spend money, but I would steal things. Like, I would probably steal my food. I would steal a lot of food. Right now, I try to find food that's like on last sale. I often eat expired meats because I can get them cheaper. And so I have this drawer in my refrigerator where I can store it in. But, I would steal meat if it was allowed, because meat is expensive. I would steal milk and eggs, and I would steal potatoes. So yeah, if it wasn't illegal, then I would probably steal some things, even though that is morally, I was about to say corrupt, but it's not really corrupt, it's just wrong. It's not right to steal something, and that's basically my morals. I'm a good person, but I'm definitely not a perfect person, and I will never pretend to be, ever, because the people that pretend they are perfect, they are the issue. We need to see our own flaws. We need to notice that we are morally wrong sometimes. And it would be wrong for me to say these things if I had listeners. That means that it is wrong for me to say it now, even while I don't have listeners. Yet I still say it, and I justify it. So, that means I'm imperfect. I don't know if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my ranting about people and how much I hate them. I probably won't hate you, though, if you're a good guy or gal. So, make sure to leave a comment down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye now.